All right, we should be good. Let me get this placed. Make sure everyone can hear everybody. Oh, geez Louise. I'm getting a little bit of feedback somewhere. Amanda, say some stuff.
Oh God. Never know what to say when you say that.
Ethan, say some stuff.
Hello.
Okay. Do you have a fan on, Amanda?
Oh yeah, my ceiling fan.
Okay,
Hold on, I'll
if
turn
it's
it on.
hot, don't worry. I said if it's hot, don't worry about it.
No, it's okay. I have a breeze from my window, so hold on one second, I'll turn it off.
Oh, that's always the best if you can have your window open. I'm allergic to everything outside, so I can't.
Right. All right, let me go to this and get this link.
Did that help at all?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to post this. I get all so sloppy about doing it because I did, like, up until the last minute, I was like, oh, I don't want to do this. But I know I'm actually going to really enjoy it. So.
I know. I was like, she's going to bail tonight, isn't she? But I was like, I can't blame her if she does, but...
Man, I'm going for way too wrong. Here we go. Okay. BHAD podcast on Spreaker. As BHAD podcast, livecast, Teen Wolf, Dylan O'Brien, Jeff Davis is a dick. SDCC 2017. Hey Milky, hey Bashful. And post. Okay.
Hey Scruffy.
Alright, let me get my peeps up here. Send them the link. What?
Oh my God. Bashful, he needs to meet the underside of a steamroller.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's so funny the differences that in comments between Wattpad and AO3, because I think I have like 2 fics up on Wattpad.
Mm-hmm.
And every time it's just all these people that are like, oh my God. And then it's really random because you can kind of comment in line, so you can like highlight what you want to comment about and then do that. It's really strange. And so I just get the weirdest clips of comments. I'm like, that. Thank you. Here we go. Dagnabbit. Oh. All right. Who else do we have on Bird? Oh, hey, Night's Watch Rabble. Hey, Tori Marie. Okay. I know, don't do it. It's contagious. Okay. Let me close all of these windows. So many windows open. Okay. And by close, I mean minimize, because I can never close anything.
Yeah, on my weekend, then it's just like 19 tabs open.
Exactly.
Having multiple monitors only makes it worse.
Right.
Oh God, I would have so many.
Oh,
one tab is like the best thing I ever found for that.
What's that?
Oh my God, it's like one tab, but you can put all your other tabs and you keep them so that you don't have to close them, but they're like all on a list.
Ooh.
Instead of like all open. So you can have like one tab that has a list of all your tabs, and it's amazing.
I need it.
I know, right? I'm like, look it up. Look it up.
It's just a Chrome extension, so.
Okay. Can everyone
awesome.
hear everyone? Okay. It was good living with you. Wow. The Goo Goo Dolls were here last night. And I was like, why?
Okay. I enjoy the Goo Goo Dolls, so.
I can't. Okay, so I know Slide. That's Google does, right? I'll do anything you ever need to be complete. Dun, 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 dun.
It is, yeah.
Put your hands around me. We do need to do our boy band cast. But what else do they sing? They have a bigger one because I can see the video, but I can't think of the song.
For Goo Goo Dolls?
Yes.
Iris from
Yeah,
City
that would be their
Angels.
big one.
Which one is that? I don't know that name. Iris.
you don't, because it's not the title. It's like, and I don't want the world to see.
Thank you,
because I don't. Yeah.
Really understand.
It's so good.
To be broken. I just want you to know why. Okay, and that is City of Angels.
Yeah,
yes.
You got it.
Okay. Oh, now that song's gonna be in my head all night. I was watching Girls. God, I don't know why. I know why I watch it, but I also hate myself. I watch this show, but I always have to catch up and see the messiness. But this one guy started singing "High Above Me," and it made me mad because I had I've never known the lyrics to that song. I've heard that song my entire life, but they were saying, and I was like, "Ooh!" But he was doing an acoustic version, so I was like, "What song is this? This is really nice." And then he's like, "Hi," and I was like, "Oh God, she's so lovely."
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard that whole song. So,
well, it's the first part. Something like she's fun and fancy free. And then they say something, and it's like really clever songwriting. And you're just like, I didn't know I should take you seriously as artist. I just thought that this was a stupid song that I enjoyed. Oh, did people say they could hear us? Hey, Aiden. Yeah, did I ask? Oh, I guess it didn't go in. There we go. Hi, Alyssa Cookmore. Cleopatra, Joan of Arc. She's so lovely. All right. Welcome, everybody, to Beacon Hills After Dark, Post the Darkness. Because this weekend, I still don't know if Dylan O'Brien is back in LA. But yeah.
He needs to be in LA by tomorrow, though.
Okay, is that when the interviews are?
Yeah, there's interviews lined up tomorrow, so he has to be there by then.
Ooh.
My God.
Interviews for
American Assassin.
Oh, AMA's interesting.
He better be there for American Assassin, and we need to.
Of course he will.
He was listed, and he has no reason why he can't be.
That's true.
I will kill him. If Posey throws a fit, something will happen. I know, exactly.
That one's inevitable.
Feel it in my bones. Ugh. Of course.
But that's the thing, because, like, Posey at this point, like, why would, I don't know. I know. Why does he have to be the way that he is?
This is the question. Ethan, it's like they reenacted, him and Colton reenacted the juice scene, and it was just nothing.
Okay.
I felt nothing.
Nothing.
And I was just like, what happened? And there's just this, I have so much that I want to talk about. And we have so much to talk about. So, of course, am Sticky Keys. To my right, back again, Miss Amanda, aka Scruff Hysteric. Hi, Amanda.
Hi.
Yay. To her right, the voice we all know and love, involuntary permanent co-host, Ethan. Say hi, Ethan.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
I have a list tonight.
Yes.
And there is one particular platinum blonde hoe at the top.
Oh, we gonna talk about. First we're gonna get the Dobbs situation out of the way.
Oh, of course.
We're gonna get that out of the way. We're gonna talk about it, and we're just gonna be done with it. Dylan O'Brien, you acted a hot mess this weekend. I can't believe. Not even that he showed up. I was telling Ethan earlier, I was like, it was funny to me that through all of this, Hecklin is the least messiest one. And Hecklin is the one wearing a hat and being tall and white and trying to hide in Africa. But just like...
Mm-hmm. And that's the least messy thing that happened.
The least messy one. Where was Bobo? Where was Ryan?
Bobo was back with his little girlfriend. He posted a picture with her today.
Oh my God. Wait, let's look this up. Those two are a hot mess. They made extra sure. Why is Ian Bowen in my most visited Instagram links? Where did he post it? Or did she post it?
Oh, he did it. I think it was an IG story.
Okay, a story. Okay.
So that would be why, yeah.
Oh, Megan Bethy. My goodness. And so then it was... And this is what we always say, and it's exactly what we talked about. Teen Wolf, their motto should be, it can always get worse. Because Teen Wolf has a way of taking my worst expectations and topping it in a way that is just going to infuriate me. I could make peace with Dylan being there. What I can't make peace with, or what I hate, is that they seem to do everything they could to make sure Tyler Hecklin was not there and was not a presence and was not really mentioned, was not really, except by Colton, who we're going to talk a lot about when we get to him. And it was just like, yeah. And then, so that's what I wanted to ask. I didn't listen to it. Nia J14, she says, that Heck and Bobo video saying they couldn't be there from Paris when neither of them were still in Paris. Did they say that in the video that, we can't be there because we're in Paris?
I don't know. I only saw that little clip, and it only said sorry we couldn't be there, here's the intro to Derek or whatever.
But it was probably just implied, which I could still see them doing that. Especially...
Yeah, I think they just filmed it before they left Paris.
So, I just think it was a bad move. But you know what? I'm going to give Dylan the benefit of his mid-20s doubt. He is going to make a lot of dumb decisions, and this was chief among them. So hopefully this can be the dumbest thing he does this year. And then we don't... Oh, okay. Ian captioned it, Wolves in Paris, on Twitter. And,
Well, it's not like we didn't know they were in Paris. They documented their trip.
Exactly. They were, in Paris. I got you. And so... I do have... I mean, we could analyze it all day, and Lord knows we have, and Lord knows that we did. There is such a sham covering over all the proceedings to begin with, because you're dealing with San Diego Comic-Con, you're dealing with promo. And again, we have to sell this show so that it looks like it's successful, and they have to do these things. MTV hosting an award just so that they can reward themselves. What does Icon Award even mean? Did they even...
It was a new one that they made this year just for Teen Wolf.
Exactly.
They literally said it, brand new award. So it's not that they won anything, they made them one.
And it's and that's just so that they could win an award on their last year. And people don't say, because even when we got to the awards, I couldn't enjoy Dylan dancing. I couldn't enjoy, like, even the fan photos where he just looked just bomb.com. And I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, he's wasted all the time. He's drunk. He's this and that and the other. I'm saying at that moment, that boy's eyes were dead. And so it goes
well,
back.
so many of the pictures from that first day, he just looked miserable.
Just miserable.
When he wasn't dead behind the eyes, he looked like he was, like, just having the worst day of his life. I didn't even post most of the pictures because I'm like, he looks
awful.
He's having such an awful time.
And yes, let me clarify that. He doesn't look awful. He looked like he was having just an awful time. And it goes back to what I was saying. Someone had sent me some videos and I watched them first and I was like, oh my God, what is he saying? And I was like, he must be talking about leaving Teen Wolf and how emotional it was. And then like I would tune in and actually be able to listen to it later. And he was saying like some happy story or just something where it was just like, Dylan,
yeah, those ones I was linking to you while it was going on.
I was like, his words and his body language were completely different. And
there was such a disconnect between, like, if you watched him, he looked like we said, miserable. And then you hear what he's saying, and it's supposed to be like this emotional, positive, for the most part thing. And he just, there was such a disconnect between his words and his body language.
It looked like a cry for help. Judith in the chat, she says, did you see the interview with IMDb where he was asked if he felt trapped by the show? And Dylan was saying he felt super strapped down by the show. And Kevin started agreeing, saying he thought so too. I guess Dylan was supposed to be joking. But
yeah,
Kevin
he played
was
it
serious.
off like because I saw that. But yeah, because he went back and clarified he repeated the whole, like, it's like coming home, it's like a family, was how he ended that whole statement.
Which, again, is hilarious, because he does seem close with the boys, with the young boys, but those young boys have their own group. The Sprayberry, Kylan, Rambo, Mason, Di, Cody, Christian collective is its own separate thing. Like, I'll never get over when that girl saw them at dinner together with Dylan. And we're like,
right? That was so weird.
Right? We're just like, really? And we know that Kylan and Sprays have been best friends forever. And I think really that's the reason Sprays got a job on the show. And probably Mason died. Or not Rambo. I think Sprays is the reason Rambo got a job on there. And
apparently,
probably
Christian and Sprays are neighbors. I think they were saying in one interview they live right next door to each other.
Okay, I can see that too. So that he was like, but neighbors. But won't you be my neighbor? And so and then Dylan went to the panel, and just so much he was just talking, opposing. He was just trying to, but I just can't pinpoint. Because there's part of me that goes straight paranoid conspiracy theory, where I feel like anytime Dylan is behind the curtain, he's like, okay, I acted like I like you. Can I go now? Can I go drink now? Yeah. Or is he just kind of going through the motions? Because I just felt like he was chanting to himself, you're having a good time. You're having a good time. You're not trapped. You're not trapped. You know, and I'm just like, oh, God. But I don't know. Oh, Lord. She said I try to leave the country for it. Thanksgiving. Yeah. Yikes. So, okay. So that's Dylan. We were talking about American Assassin. I'll just reference that briefly. There's this whole, this movie is Islamophobic. And so the problem is then they say, well, the books are Islamophobic. And then it's like, well, you haven't read the books. But also we know that they made a lot of changes from the books. So now, instead of being Islamophobic, it's about American white savior saving, the lives of brown people and blah, blah, blah. It's just something / anything to kind of be against these books. And
right.
I kind of knew that was going to happen. I feel like if there was another actor in that role, I would probably feel the same way. Or I probably just wouldn't give it the time of day. Because if it's Dylan, of course, I have a vested interest. What I'm wondering is once this promo starts, regardless, I believe in Keaton and his performances during the interviews are what's going to tell me whether or not this movie is going to be successful. He put a lot into it and a lot of his work into it, and I don't see him dumping that just because of some criticisms, And so I think that's going to be the gauge for me, but I do need promo to start. I need CBS to get with it. They tried to be cute and release a picture of Dylan, a still of him.
Right before the panel
started. Absolutely perfect. And I loved it. But,
it was so shady, and it was amazing.
I wish they would have done more. That was my only
You wanted more?
I wish they would have done more. But I feel like if Dylan is going to do Comic-Con, they really need to do a Boys to Men type of thing. They need to do a thing of, this is him leaving behind his childhood, and now he's growing up to become the man that we're all ready for him to be. And so, I just feel like that wasn't expressed enough because it was so much the Jeff show. And it was so much, again, about, they keep talking about this legacy and, if they don't make Posey a part of the next Teen Wolf, why would he be a part of the next Teen Wolf?
He's going to be the narrator. That's my thought.
What does that even, exactly. And so it's like, for a podcast, Posey, this is what you want your new... And then they didn't specify, but someone was saying, well, the podcast is going to close out the rest of the season and introduce it for the movie. I said, first of all this is going downhill as soon as MTV gets a new president in the next 3 months or however long it takes.
Right, because they've had 3 in as many years.
Mm-hmm. And the only reason Jeff has gotten this far is because of this new president, which I don't understand. I don't know what happened there. Because we know Jeff was on his way out. He was about to get fired. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it's like, nope, and we're going to get freaking Hall H for you. It's like, this doesn't make any sense.
They must have sucked some big dick.
Yeah.
Like that.
And cup the balls, swallow the gravy. They did it all. How? Yeah. Rough. And so
I just don't understand why they, where does the podcast come from? Where did that even come from? That's not a good idea for Teen Wolf. They rely on slow-mo and hot rides.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem. It's a great idea for Teen Wolf. The issue is it's not a good idea for Jeff Davis. Because in order to get... Because if you can imagine a fantastically written show with impeccable sound design and acting, and you don't have to... you pay the actors and you pay the designers, but you don't have to worry about visual effects. That could be a really cool thing. The problem is, his demographics don't listen to podcasts. And kids just aren't doing that. They're not sitting down in groups and turning around a radio for a fireside chat. It doesn't happen. If anything, maybe a web series, maybe. But then, of course, you still deal with the expense of that. So I'm like, if you're going to do this podcast, again, you're appealing to the nerds, which works. And I am chief among them. Because I love the podcast.
But so those types of people, I was thinking, the people who are listening to Penumbra, or the people who are listening to Night Vale, those are the people that you exiled from the Teen Wolf fandom,
and that's
from
what it is.
Hysteric.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
You had the chance with the audience, and you fucked it.
The biggest
and now their audience is tweens.
Yeah.
And there shows you how much of a disconnect there is, too, because Posey and Jeff both did this during interviews. Posey tried to explain what a podcast was. I think he thought people didn't know. He was talking about old radio shows.
Oh, my God.
And then,
that is so cringy.
And then Jeff, during an interview, that podcasts are like radio dramas.
Did he just find out? Well, first off, no. And second of all, he must have just found out what a podcast was like a day ago.
Well, he said he listens to a lot of audiobooks. But I'm thinking he means like Podfix because that's where he steals all his ideas from anyway.
I mean, yes.
Ooh.
I know, right? That bird was savage. Let me get some aloe. But no, and but this is the biggest example of this was Terrence, and we really. I wonder if he'll want to come on. Let me. He's like, I'm busy.
You might want to spill some tea.
Hold on, let me message him real quick. You want to come on this messy podcast? Oh, and let me see if Cole's available, just in case. Because you know Cole's got some things to say. What's the best way? Here, let me get on Tumblr for Cole. Sorry, yeah, I have a point to make. I haven't forgotten it. Cole, the wolf. You want to come on this messy podcast? Yeah. Terrence, the first year when he went to, he actually reminded me of this because he was telling me about it. He's the one that told me about it. Queer horror panel. They were one of the very first that invited Teen Wolf and, gave Teen Wolf interviews and gave Teen Wolf press. And this is something that we're talking about in the queer horror panel. And then after that, Teen Wolf was still good for them. And they said, we got what we needed from you. We don't need you anymore. And, it is what it is. And I said, and so you're trying to now appeal to those people again. And we were talking, someone had sent in and asked about the differences in the watchers. And this is on your list, Ethan, so we can actually segue into it. When people start watching this show and how it affects their perception of the show. I find that people that have been watching since season 1, and I mean like 2011, 2012, started watching this show, are probably not watching the show anymore. Or at the very least, they took a huge break in the middle and were like, I'm done. I am always kind of an anomaly when it comes to that kind of stuff. So I know I started right before 3A, but I binge watched season 1 and 2 and then, kind of watched through for the podcast. But I know I had never bailed on a show and I was ready to bounce after season 4. I was like, if it hadn't been for the podcast, I would have been like, peace out, deuces. Really, after this weekend, it's the same thing. I'm like, yeah, dang. Amanda, when did you start watching?
I actually started watching before season 3A as well. I randomly caught like a marathon of like season 1 and 2, so I binged like the first 2 seasons and then like jumped right in and watched season 3 live. And then by season 4, I was like over it because season 4 was a mess.
And so,
I like dove right in. I actually, before I watched the show, the reason I even knew the show existed was because I was like lurking on the outskirts of Tumblr and was seeing Steric everywhere. And so I was like, I found Steric before I found the show.
Sorry, keep going.
No, I was saying that's why I ended up watching the show when I saw the marathon, because I was like, oh, this is where the 2 guys are from, so.
I forget how much of a Tumblr presence we had.
Yeah.
Like, that we reached so many blogs that just didn't know what Teen Wolf was, didn't know what Steric was. And there were so many people that had never seen the show that shipped Steric.
Exactly.
There were so many people. I remember seeing so many fics. Around 3A, 3B that were like, I've never seen the show, but I love these characters. I'm going to write about it.
And that's exactly what this issue is. Because I came from a background where I did not get into fandom. I refused. I was like, I don't understand it. It's too much. I don't like it.
You were you were a part of American Idol fandom, right?
Yes. However, I was part of the TWAP fandom and didn't know it. It was a fandom and I just didn't realize it. Hold on. Dan said season 3 was like in The Handmaid's Tale when they started snatching up women's money. Then it was just too late by season 4. The benefactor had us all under his eye. God dang you, Dan. But yeah, so I used to go on this website called Television Without Pity, and we'd go do the forums, and they did pithy recaps of TV shows. And so we had different forums where we talked about stuff, but it was Trey nerd chic. We were analyzing Smoke Monsters, and there was no shipping, there was no fanfic, there was nothing.
It was
like
meta.
that. Exactly. It was, but I had no idea. And so when I got to Teen Wolf, I didn't know anything about the Steric thing at all. And you can track my evolution throughout the podcast. Where I'm literally, I think I start I'm messing with Sterics. And I'm like, you know what, these Sterics are pretty nice. And I'm like, these Sterics almost got me, but they crazy. And then finally I'm like, we are all crazy. And I love Sterics so much. Oh my God. And so mine was the slow burn. But, I got in so much trouble at TWAP, man. We had, oh God, what was the name of the... We had, when we talk about meta, it was I can't remember what the site was called, but it was basically, I hate TWAP, or TWAP sucks, and then it was TWAP sucks, and then it was Lyle Lovett's needs. It was so messy. But anyhow, that prepped me for a lot of my online drama, because after that I went to LiveJournal. And that's when it was just, I was done after that. And then finally, but Teen Wolf is the first one where I got into the fandom in a fanfic sort of way, in a shipping sort of way, and being like, oh my God, here is this community of people. Because really, getting through this weekend depended on them and had nothing to do with the show. So thank you everybody who sent in lovely messages to my inbox. So girls like, Stacey, you okay? And I'm like, yeah. I'm gonna be okay.
I'll get through it.
I know. I was like, I'm gonna get through this. But man, there were some days where I was just like, I don't know. Bernard, no. But anyhow. TWAP was fantastic, but TWAP was messy. Ooh, that's what should have prepared me for this Teen Wolf drama. Let's talk about Jeff D. Oh, so wait, okay, so what I want to round it out is I found that we have a lot of people that started watching season 4, and then they go back and they binge watch the other seasons. Binge watching 1 season, 2 season is one thing. Binge watching 4 seasons in a row, you miss so much, especially just doing it casually. And so they have a passing idea of Jackson. They have a passing idea of Kate and really first level Kate and Jennifer, but they don't really know why it sucks that all of them are back for Derek. And so you're going to have these people that basically tear each other apart. And no, Dan, you go in the corner. Oh, God. What he said. So, what was I going to say? I think that it just gives you a different perspective. They asked Colton a shipping question. They were like, what's your favorite ship? And he was like, every time I talk about it, I start to get in trouble, or people just really start to turn off. And I think he was talking about Stydia's, on his timeline, but then also not sure. Because he was like, I like Steric. And he's like, I love Steric. He was like, is Steric still a thing? And it was the girls who were interviewing that were like, yes. And you could tell that they wanted to ask more and they wanted to talk more, but they couldn't. And that frustrates me.
Interesting.
There's still so many Sterics out there, and there's still so many people that support Steric, but they won't say the words. And
yes, like at the con.
Yeah, exactly. Because so Colton was like, yeah, I love Steric and I like Stydia. And then he was like, Styles and Lydia, yeah. And he's like, and Jackson, Lydia, Gydia? Is that what it is? And they're like, yeah. And he's like, and Gydia. You know, and I'm just like, if you talk about Steric, you could talk about Jizek. And, you know, let's like actually open this up if this is going to be a part of who you are. But you still can't talk about Steric. And Colton's face was just like, please ask me about Steric. But they just couldn't. There's this barrier there. And so then people are like, oh, you're just imagining things. And then I say, oh, actually, we're not imagining things. And I'm going to tell you why as soon as we get Terrence added on.
Yes. Because he has some stories.
Yes. And we have I have a big story.
Do I know the story?
No, you don't. Not yet. I literally just found this out. This is why I'm doing the podcast. Because I was ready to be my mopey self. I was going to get my ice cream.
Is my opinion of this platinum blonde hoe going to change?
Oh, no. It actually doesn't have anything to do with the platinum blonde hoe. But... okay, let's talk about this platinum blonde hoe while we wait for Terrence.
So I'm going to stay pressed about that for some time.
Get on, Terrence. Go ahead, Ethan. Say your piece.
Cole Haynes, have all the seats,
all
please.
The seats!
I cannot believe that through group text... and not through ample
my God
blowjob times.
Right.
That he got all them boys back on the show.
Okay, so here's what we know happened though. Because later on he retells that story like 6 times. One good time he come on, Hangouts. One good time he left Posey out, or 2 good times he left Posey out of the story, which tells me he does not have a group chat with Dylan, Hecklin, and Posey. He has a group chat with Dylan and Hecklin, and he probably told Posey, I don't really have a group chat with them. Just let me tell the story. First of all, I don't know that we knew that him and Hecklin had the same agent. And someone tried to be like, since they have the same agent and Colton came out, then because Hecklin didn't come out, then that must mean that it was Hecklin who didn't want to do Steric and Hecklin and Hecklin's closet. And I said, first of all, Colton's closetedness was affecting his work. And he was making
we talked about that. Like I was saying, like he couldn't even work. He had a mental breakdown. He was like, he had to like go away for his anxiety. He couldn't work for a year.
Exactly.
That affected his agent.
Yeah. Here, I'm trying to get Terrence added.
I wasn't having a mental breakdown.
Oh, wait, something happened. Amanda, come back.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool. Terrence, you there?
Joined in. Hi.
Hi, boo. How you doing?
Jesus, son.
We are talking about this messy weekend.
I'm very scared.
You should be afraid.
As you should be.
Did you hear, what did Colton post? Did you hear that Colton story about how he drunkenly got Hecklin and Dylan on a group chat telling them that he wasn't going to come back unless they came back. And they were a family and they were all in this together and what team, Wildcats, and all this other nonsense.
I mean, did I ever tell the story about how I ran into Colton at the gym?
Yes. But tell it now because you haven't told it on the podcast.
And so I saw him one time before, but it was sort of in the locker room, and I was like, I can't go up to him and try and have a conversation just coming out of the shower. That'd be really awkward.
I'm just saying, get your.
But I ran into him again, and
80-20.
I was talking with him, and I was like, yeah, I heard that you're coming back to the show, and he mentioned at that, I can't remember when this was, but I remember that he was talking to Hecklin, trying to get him to come back since he was going back.
Oh, God.
And that originally, I don't think Hecklin was with it. I don't know what they promised in the way of money.
They promised him an all expenses paid trip to Africa and to Paris.
They had to promise him something, but yeah, that's what got him to come back. It was sort of Colton talking to him about it.
Colton. And Colton
even admitted that, like, Hecklin didn't really want to do it because he said he was, like, all grumpy cat about it.
He said he called his agent.
Colton went to their agent
who was
to
his
get him
agent.
to do it.
Who is his agent? And I'm just like, but Colton was waiting for that thank you. And that's what killed me, is he kept telling the story until he got his thank you. And then finally someone at the end was like, thank you. And he was like, yeah, it's cool. And I was just like, ooh, Colton, you don't know what you
I would have given him a big fuck you.
Oh my God, how did they not? How did someone not be like, so this is going to segue into the tables. So, Jeff Davis goes up and he sits down at a table. And one of my friends is there for a little blog we like to call the Geekiary.
Ooh.
Yeah. One of our favorite bloggers on that blog is a young man by the name of Fareed, who loves to drag Jeff Davis with receipts as much as possible as he can.
Yeah.
So my friend is at the table and Jeff Davis is saying, oh, who's all here? And people are listing off their blogs. And my friend says, oh, I'm so-and-so. I'm from the Geekiary. He looks at her and says, oh, you have that guy. Why does he even still watch? Is he even watching the same show?
Wait, so Jeff literally said that?
Yep, word for word. It's recorded.
Wow.
It is
Yikes.
on tape. Then at the end, he says, well, you tell him he named him by name, said Fareed. Then said, you tell him I said hello and that I hope all hysteric dreams come true. My.
Wow.
Woo!
Goodbye.
The chair's empty.
That was even... Jesus.
Yeah. If I didn't have no one home, I would have just screamed over the balcony into the living room.
I cannot believe it. Jeff is a dick. And when I tell people this, they don't understand.
Ugh, that is just a mess.
And his neck shrunk 3 more sizes that day.
I'm like, first of all, if you have a problem with Fareed, go talk to Fareed. He will be happy. Because Fareed was gleeful.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, oh, I'm going to do a video about it. I was like, I said, you do the thing, boo.
Jesus.
But then... Oh, yeah.
Ugh.
Go ahead.
Wow. I just... Of all the mess...
Yeah.
That the show has... I just cannot believe that he said that.
Still.
To somebody on video.
I can. I do believe that.
I feel like he would email that to somebody. Like,
Right?
you don't say that out loud.
I cannot believe that he's still that much up in his feelings about Steric. And so this is what I'm talking about. When Colton is at the table talking about, I like Steric. I don't understand why, people always get all crazy when I start talking about Steric. And I'm like, it's because your boss has set the precedent. He has laid down the carpet. Steric will forever be a pariah when it comes to him until the stupid show ends. And I'm like, and that's why we're waiting for the show to end. That's why I didn't want Derek and Styles in the finale, because it's going to be trash. It's going to be trash and it's going to be something. And people are like, oh, Jeff is going to give us Derek. Jeff hates Derek. Jeff doesn't like
I tried to tell everybody. after the I didn't watch whatever new trailer they released, but that first one,
we gonna talk about the second one too.
We have lived through seasons where they were only on screen twice, and they were on screen twice in that trailer. So that literally might be all you get.
That's it. That's it. Something is happening, and it's so frustrating to see people still try to lick his taint and calling him a gay icon, and he's a forerunner for diversity and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, what? What show are you watching? Because I don't see that.
Well, and one thing, someone asked him at one of the table interviews about the banter between Styles and Derek, and if that was going to be like a thing. And like, you just watched his face change because he had been bragging about himself right before that question, and his face just like shut down. Just like barely concealed scorn. And then he was talking about how like that was one of the things he was looking forward to writing in the finale, and how they have great comedic chemistry, like stressed comedic, because God forbid it's romantic.
And we know that Styles, Lydia, and Jackson are going to have an awkward scene, a very awkward scene. So, and this is how this is why I know that he's trash, because Stydias have been like, are we going to get coupley moments? Jeff doesn't like Stydia either. and I don't know why people are, oh yes, honey. I don't know why people are trying to always say that Jeff loves Stydia, because he doesn't like it either. But they were like, are there going to be Stydia? And he was like, there's some good moments or something like that. And so one of the reporters says, there are no coupley moments. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. She said, what can you tell us season 6 about Styles and Lydia? And he said, I can tell you they're both in season 6.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, well, does that mean that there won't be trouble? That there won't be any coupley moments. And he says, oh, there are, but he stumbled. He didn't hear coupley. And so he stopped, and he was like, all he really heard was moments. So then he stopped, and he was like, well, there's one where blah, 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 which means that there's probably going to be that one Stydia moment. However, I do think that's going to be the I knew you figured it out moment. And I think
I told someone at my job that whole situation because they asked me if I'd watched the trailer, and I was like, I want my life to be happy, so no.
Right.
And they're a Stydia fan, and I was just like, whatever. But yeah, the Jackson stuff just makes me so mad.
And now it's not that they're bringing him back as gay. They're actually, it looks as though they're bringing him back as bi. So now, not only does he get the gay storyline, he gets the bi storyline. Because he looks at this girl, then he looks at this dude who is not cute. And I was just like, how dare they? And then they try to have him acting, and he's looking for Scott McCall for some unknown reason. Because I'm sure they left on great terms. So I'm just like, okay. Why he's with Aiden, I don't know. I don't know that they have them dating. I don't think it is, but I do think that they are going to be like, oh, he's bi, and then that's it. Teen Wolf music account.
That was the thing I showed you, remember, a few weeks ago? I texted you, I messaged you the screen cap of that, because I asked you, because remember the studios were freaking out over that music thing, and they thought it was like a song for like a sex scene.
Oh, I thought that it was just, I know. They are trying so hard with the sex scene. And the funny thing is, so I do think, you remember that scene, I think it was in season 3B. I think it was in 3B, where Styles wakes up in bed and he's next to Lydia. Mm-hmm. Well, I think they're going to redo that scene, but this time with Lydia having a dream, and then she's waking up and Styles will be there. Because of that, I think that that's what's going to happen because the studios are losing their mind. They need something. And the show, of course, did exactly what we said they were going to do, which means that they did them a disservice by going canon. They have one kiss that they use. And someone actually made the comment, they were talking about Scalia, and they're like, oh, she got dicked down by both of them. She's the real winner. And I was just like, yikes. But it's also, like, not that it's also true, but it's like, you have this canon relationship that's been going since season 1, and y'all have one kiss. And they're trying so hard not to be salty about it, but they are salty about it. So now everything is about to be.
I have so many questions.
Yeah.
So Scalia, like...
Woo! My God. 3 different scenes in the trailer, in the next season on. 3 different Scalia scenes of them kissing and naked in the shower.
And Shelley talked about having, like, a bunch of scenes with him, and she's mentioned a couple scenes of her naked, and so, like, that's other scenes of them, because apparently she's naked a lot in 60, because that's what we need more of.
I just don't know why everybody in the friend group has to
each other,
sleep with somebody else, and is there nobody else?
It's just HPV City at this point.
Well, it's unrealistic. It's just not something that I've ever seen happen in my life.
I mean,
I've seen it.
I
haven't seen it.
I have been, like, adjacent to that. I have a good friend, and all of his friend group, it seems, has slept with somebody else in the friend group. I'm the outlier whenever I go in there, and it's very strange.
Right.
But, like, that's a whole bunch of gay dudes. Not a whole bunch of straight people, and I feel like they have a better handle on.
And it's not a bunch of teenagers. I see that.
Yeah, they're not
I've seen
teenagers.
it in high school, or I mean in college. I've seen it in college a little bit, and that's kind of like the whole, we're on our own and we're discovering ourselves kind of thing. But I'm like, y'all are 17 and trying to act like you're in these huge relationships. And first of all, what lifts were in Posey's shower shoes to make him taller than Shelley Hennig? I was like, this is not reasonable. But, yeah, and then they were like, oh, it's not rushed. I said, you're in the last 10 seasons of a 6-season show. It's rushed. It's going to be rushed. How is Scalia not rushed? Like, girl.
Oh, yeah, she made sure to say that it wasn't rushed, and it was, like, natural, and it was different than anything you've seen on Teen Wolf before.
Now, that was the best part of the panel, when Shelley was trying, Dylan, we have something to tell you. Malia and Scott, they're gonna get together, and then Dylan's like, what? Like, oh. Okay.
He was not fazed by it at all.
Well,
he was like, why are you telling me this?
Because I was like, did he not know? Wasn't he there during filming? And then I'm like, oh, wait, no, he wasn't. They had him for like 4 days. Ugh. This show. Oh, and so Kate is back. Jennifer is back.
Okay, so this.
Derek.
I have Teen Wolf muted and filtered to the heavens in TweetDeck. To avoid saying things like this. And somehow, some way, this got past the filter. And, like, not even just the fact that it's Derek and they're bringing back these 2 love interests. Did Peter not kill Jennifer?
Evidently not. Because they're going to leave it for Scott.
They left it open to interpretation.
No, he literally, slit her throat and then proclaimed that he was the alpha and had always been the alpha.
Yeah,
and then Jeff said in an interview, "Oh, but we really liked her, so we might bring her back."
Because he
like
did the same
that
thing
was
with
like
Kate.
at the end of 3A.
And
I had a love-hate relationship with that character. Like when she was, riding Derek, I hated her.
Mm-hmm.
But the second she turned evil, I was here for it. So like, I like Haley Webb a lot, but it just does not make sense to bring them back. Like, I don't even know what capacity they'd be brought back in, but like, I can already tell you that it won't make sense because.
Did you see his Jeff's article, or that article Teen Wolf News, where he was like, "Oh, I've got about 20 storylines to tie up." And I said, the fact that you have 20 loose ends should be a huge red flag as to why you got canceled. A. B. No, you don't have to tie up 20 loose story ends. You need to just let them dangle. And we will make sure not to touch them on the way out.
I just don't know how he felt like Jennifer. That was a pretty solid arc, despite how garbage it started.
The problem is that Jeff has a very different way of viewing things like retribution and justice. Because I know they're going to do it to give Derek a moment. But the problem is they won't admit that Derek was raped. They won't admit that he has PTSD. They won't admit all this stuff. But they want him to get back at Jen for some unknown thing, and they want him to get back at Kate for killing his family, and that's it. And so it's like, yay, we get these scenes where...
So...
yeah, I'm telling you. We're going to get these scenes where Derek is going to beat down these women or avenge himself against these women, but then there's no point to it. It's like, yeah, I'm going to kill you because you killed my family. Not because you...
I thought that he had moved. Yeah, I know I blocked out season 4, but like...
He evolved.
Didn't he evolve past...
Terrence, did you see the slip and slide Camaro entrance that he had?
Oh my
God. The what?
He was in a Camaro and did about 6 figure eights and a loop-de-loop for no goddamn reason. And people were like, "Oh my God, Derek! Oh, the Camaro is back!" I think it's a newer model, but everyone was freaking out. And then he goes into a warehouse and like almost kills someone. I said, "Isn't he supposed to be past this?" But this is also how the whole Derek's got a new car baby. Derek's got a brand new car baby turned into Derek and Brayden have a baby. And I was like, I hate you, internet. I hate you so bad. So everybody was like, Derek and Brayden have a baby. And then Jeff Mother effing Davis lied his face off and said we tried to get Megan back, but we couldn't work it out with her management. Knowing good and well, Megan Tandy would have taken a red eye to be on that set. She had
no job.
She has a job. She still would have left. Well, she's in Atlanta now, so I think she's over it. She's still doing that survivor's remorse thing, which I'm still not sure.
You know, I think she probably was like, I just don't want to deal with the fans again.
No, I think she loves the fans.
She loves the fans. She posted about how much she loved her Teen Wolf fans not that long ago.
What fans?
But you saw that on Instagram where she was in the cop's uniform and she was like, "This is how Brayden got her start," and I was like, "Girl,
yes!
Girl, sit down."
Yeah,
but I feel like Brayden. Megan is a mess.
So much apparently happened in this trailer that I didn't watch, and I'm so glad I did not.
Yeah, you should be.
Because I just don't understand being, 100 episodes into a series and like retconning a whole bunch of stuff at the end.
Exactly.
It's like you already laid the groundwork for everything, and then you're like, oh, this actor is gay, let's like give him a love interest, and not just any love interest. Ethan, who used to date and fuck his best friend, who also helped kill another character.
Exactly.
Like, Charlie Carver cannot be that good at such a dick to get that kind of like how, and
feel like Charlie Carver has a party trick. I feel like he sits the tip of his dick between his eyebrows or something, and lifts him up and massages him, and that's how he keeps getting invited. That's all I can think of.
Oh my god! You gotta warn me before you do that.
I just
lay those on me.
I just feel like it would be one thing if it was just a sham and everybody knew it, and that was just their hustle. Mm-hmm. But the fact that it's a sham, but they believe it, especially someone like Posey, and they 100% believe it. I don't know what Colton's deal is. And I feel like I can't tell if he's that naive, which I don't think he is. But what's he doing? What's his game?
He's going hard for Teen Wolf for this last season. He is all over it.
He loves it, but it's exactly the thing that I said. I think that he loves it because it was a job where he got some of his best friends. But again, you can meet your friends at BW3 on Bottle Night. You can meet your friends at Disneyland. Hecklin's got a lifetime membership. Go with him to the magical
He's a pass ready.
Exactly.
Well, and so this is what I was sort of wondering, did he have leftover contract stuff? Or did he say, if you let me back, did he sign on for things that he had to, do or say?
I almost don't think so, but originally Colton said, that's interesting you bring that up. Colton originally said no. And he said, I said no because I was involved with another show and I had other contracts that would have conflicted. But then he just kind of glossed over it and he was like, but then we were able to work something out. So I'm like,
yeah.
And it doesn't sound like, because Jeff gets paid. Leafy gets paid. So I don't think that it was a money issue. But what was it?
No, not at all. That's why I was like, is it a lingering thing from or was it a part of the terms of Jeff letting him go or something?
I don't think so, because I don't think it would have been this drawn out. Especially because originally they were just planning to go to 5 seasons. Before they got to 100, true. But then they started doing the 3A, 3B nonsense, and I think that messed them up. So I don't think so for him. God. And I do think that all that traveling was on the show for Hecklin and them, for the Paris trip. I think that all of that was a part of it. Because that's such a Hecklin thing to do. Yeah, I think 100% all that was paid for.
To request payment in the form of a trip.
Basically.
That trip officially started the day the trailer was supposed to release, even though it went a day earlier.
Exactly.
It's not a coincidence.
I don't think so. They moved the date of that trailer. I'm just like, And so, messy. So then we need to talk about the other mess. I'm trying to think if we have any other fun industry wank stuff for you, Terrence.
I just
I cannot believe Jeff did that. That's still, but it's so indicative of who he is. And I'm just like, when people are like, oh, why don't you like Jeff? And I'm like, Jeff Davis is a dick. And here's exactly why. May all your stared dreams come true. How dare you?
Cannot believe. Did they post the video of that?
Not yet. And then Jamie was like, there were several other people at that table that had to have this on the recordings as well.
I cannot wait till that gets posted online.
And it better, too.
I hope it does.
I would put this whole shit up in its entirety and not edit anything.
At all. Exactly.
Well, that's the time that... oh gosh, Not Another Teen Wolf podcast had Jeff was like, "Oh, is this going to be on the recording or whatever?" And they're like, "No." He was like, "Yes, we had a trans actor."
Oh no,
yada,
they
yada.
didn't say no. This is, and that's why this made Jeff even more trifling. They were like, "Yes, this is being recorded." And he was like, "Is this off for the record?" And they're like, "No, it's definitely on the record." And he was like, "Well, yeah, he had a trans actor."
Yeah, because he even said, "I'm going to get in trouble for this."
Yeah,
like, he knew what he was doing.
He knew exactly what he was doing. And I still want to know who that actor was.
I want to know who. Terrence, do you have any guesses
on who was
the trans
who
actor?
The trans actor that they hired?
It would have been during 3B, right?
I don't remember much after season 2.
Godspeed, man. Godspeed.
I only remember certain horrible things that just will not come out of my memory.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, some things you cannot wash away.
Yes.
Oh my God. Lord have mercy.
So I have you probably talked about this already, but how many people, and this panel was in Hall H for some stupid reason. Literally the same time a Battlestar Galactica reunion was happening in Ballroom 20 where they used to be. Teen Wolf got Hall H.
Dang.
How many people attended the panel?
I don't have the numbers. I had a bunch of people who were there. So many people refused to go to the panel. I was like, just go and take a picture. They're like, girl, I ain't giving no. I was like, okay, I can't be mad. But at first, that San Diego Teen Wolf kid, that Tyler Vallegos, who still has the Steric Fandom U Award, which, woo, I'm still hot about that. Another Jeff disaster. But at first he was like, oh, there are plenty of seats available in the back and to the left. And he was like, okay, well, the back is filling up, but there's a ton of seats available to the left. And then that was before the panel. And then during the panel, someone tried to be like, it's completely full except for a few seats in the corner. And so I'm like, I don't trust y'all. So, but I couldn't get a picture inside.
That might have been a Will Smith is coming on stage immediately after this.
Yep.
Situation.
Well, that's what even Posey was saying later during the interviews. He was like, it was a lot quieter than I thought. And they were trying to be like, oh, everyone is sad Teen Wolf is going. And I was like, because no one was there to see you. It was just
he made such a big deal about it because they asked about how the panel was and he was saying how, like, because they were in Hall H, he thought it was going to be so loud and there was going to be fans cheering. And he was like, it was so quiet. It was, like, very, like, somber and solemn.
Going out with a
I think people were just upset. Yeah, like, it wasn't quiet because people were, like, sad for you. It was quiet because they weren't there for you.
Exactly. Which
I mean, I've been in all of those, I've been in Hall H before and I've been in Ballroom 20 before, and it's like, last year I was in Ballroom 20 when they announced the show was ending, and I missed the announcement because I was listening to music.
Oh yeah, I remember that you're waiting for the next panel.
I was waiting for Luke Cage.
Yes.
But I had to get there, during the Teen Wolf one because I didn't want to miss Luke Cage. That seemed a weird way for them to go out.
Posey even said, I guess some people started chanting, not there, but at the Fandom Awards, some started chanting, Dylan, Dylan, and then, of course, Posey started mocking them. And
he was in the middle of his speech, and they were cheering for Dylan, and he, like, stopped his speech and was like, Dylan, Dylan, and then, like, kept going. Right in the middle of what he was saying.
Like, dude... Again,
it's so petty.
It's pettiness. I'm like, you win. You got him up here. He's pumping up your show. People are acting like they care about you a little bit. You won. Why are you still so salty? I'm just like, what do you want from us?
Especially with Dylan standing right next to him. Like, it's not like he wasn't in the room. He was right there.
What did they win?
Oh my God, Terrence. Okay. First of all, this wasn't Fandom U. What was this one called? Because they made their own.
Fandom Fest.
This is the Fandom Fest from MTV. They created a brand new award this year called the Icon Award. And they gave it to Teen Wolf because Teen Wolf is an icon.
So MTV hosted...
Tyler Posey hosted an MTV Awards show.
And MTV gave their own show. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yep.
You know, Terrence, they got to get listeners for the podcast.
That, oh my God. I don't even have any words for. So they're trying to reboot it as a podcast to then make it into an anthology on TV?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, or until the next MTV president gets hired.
You know what I would totally be here for? If
them sitting down.
Teen Wolf. Well, yes. But if they were going to reboot anything, if they did short seasons, like 5 or 6 episodes.
I know what you're going to say.
If they did, and each one took place in a different spot around the country, or even in other countries, and they did different mythologies, they did different actors for the seasons, they just had small, these, you start the first episode and you're done the 5th episode, just like these really small stories. I would probably either listen to that or watch it, to be honest.
Well,
So
again,
you want Jeff Davis
and that's what I was going to say.
I don't want Jeff Davis anywhere near.
That's what I was going to say.
Suddenly turn into like a BBC style writer.
Right.
To Ryan Murphy.
I mean, I think that they missed a golden opportunity there to do the backstory about Derek.
Thank you.
Younger Hales and Argents. I think that is the series that would be the most interesting. Because,
well, the problem is the people doing it have a completely, they have Kate and Derek as the same age and they're in love. And it's just you can't, this is fanfic and it's great that you have these ideas, but you need to put them in you need to express that this is AU, that this is not canon in the least.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, it's so frustrating.
Yeah, because they were dealing with all of these canon issues, and I was like, the best way to do that is to make a show, and you said it how you want to be, regardless of how stupid we think it is, you said it how you want to be. I just don't think the show did enough with regards to building out
world building
mythologies that were not, I don't think it did a good job building out werewolves in general, but it has the best handle on werewolves. So a good way to do this would be if we were to go to another place and we saw druids, or we went to another place and we saw this thing.
And then see how they were connected if you wanted to do, that.
Yeah.
The problem is,
alas, no.
Well, the thing that we talked about earlier, Terrence, before you got on, is that a podcast could be an actual good thing for something like Teen Wolf, when we're talking about sound design and good storytelling and character and world building. The problem is that your audience for a podcast are the same people that you pushed away from watching your show.
Yeah, I just don't who is I do not know the individual who is going to sit here and listen to the Teen Wolf narrative podcast.
The Made Up Group. That's exactly who's going to do it.
I can't think of.
That's it.
I can't think of
8 million secret viewers.
Yeah.
The 7 million people. Or 8 million? Yeah.
8 million.
Yeah, because I think they said they had 10 million or something.
Probably by
so we had accounted for 1.5, and we're okay, maybe there's another half online.
Yeah, it just is we watched the show, some of us longer than others, and it's ending, and now you want me to listen?
Right.
It just doesn't even seem like a smart business move. And if you were so concerned about the reboot, you should have got these hoes out of high school earlier.
Thank you.
And moved on with, Liam and Mason and company.
The fact that so this is the other thing. At first, Jeff was like, no time jump, no time jump, no time jump. Then we found out that they're still editing the finales. So, whatever. But they, someone asked, a girl was asking a question and she said something about, it's just a couple of months. It's a couple of months have passed. Posey evidently misheard that as years. And he's like, 2 years. We jumped 2 years into the future. And so everybody on cast was like, wait, what? Like, what are you talking about? And the reporter was like, 2 years. And she actually reported on it later. There was an article that she did that was like, Teen Wolf has a 2-year time jump, according to Tyler Posey. So I'm like, what are they doing? Because my current theory is that there is an AU, that there's an alternate universe, altverse, there's an upside down, there's something that Jeff has blatantly stolen, so that they have two kind of parallel things happening at the same time.
Yeah.
That's all I got. I know, it's so tiring.
I just...
Because God bless Freud Gutierrez.
Who's that?
Oh, Freud.
Y'all,
Nobody cares. He's nobody.
Why was Hayden in none of the trailer? Halen was in...
Really? She wasn't? I didn't watch it, so I wouldn't know.
Not in the season, though, is she? Except for maybe, one tiny cameo?
She's supposed to
be
She
went to do a movie and then took, a month off.
And then she was like, I'm gonna go hang with my family.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Dang, Milky. Milky was like, I think a podcast would be better for them if nothing else. Dang, it went down hard. If nothing else, then because I wouldn't have to look at Posey's face. But that still leaves his weird, drugged up voice. Oh my God, if they turned it into a musical.
Oh God.
I would die. What was I gonna say? Lord, my God. All right, I think that's it for the. Crystal Reed got a spot on Gotham. Bless.
Good for her.
Yeah.
I don't watch it, but good for her.
I know, right? Holland has been filming in Winnipeg, so she's been working. Monica's been doing a lot of print ads.
She's modeling hosiery.
I was like, what is going on? Did you see that 100% flip? Like, she got back home and she was like, well, that's done.
Yeah.
Done with the teasing.
Back to posting ads.
Done with the games. Hecklin is taking pictures of black people in Africa.
Sufficiently bearded.
I cannot believe that he showed up in Africa. When I tell y'all, I literally started laughing hysterically. And I was about to lay down on the floor until I was like, I'm at my job. I can't do this. I can't. Stacey, you got to keep it together. What?
I know, because you messaged me. You're like, hold on. He might not even be in San Diego. And then you said Africa. I was like, how? Especially because someone saw him having dinner with Posey in San Diego, supposedly. And that girl doubled down. People called her out on it.
So then
she was like, I saw what I saw. I have 20/20 vision.
Right. Then it called into question all the Dylan sightings. But then that fool, I guess he just stayed on the elevator till people started coming in. And because everybody saw him on the elevator. I was like, God dang you, Dylan O'Brien. Terrence, did you hear this mess about Hecklin being in Africa?
No, but that just seems such a random place to pop up.
Well, he was in France all that time over With his, Bearden, my God. But he was in France, and so people thought that he went back to Cali, and then all of a sudden, we were expecting him to show up at SDCC because someone was like, oh yeah, him and Posey were having lunch together, and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden the dude was like, in fact, T.H. Hecklin on Instagram sent me a DM, and they were like, hey boo, new Hecklin sighting. And I was like, ugh, I don't care about no new Hecklin sighting. But then I saw who it was with, and I was like, wait a minute. And then she sent me the DM with him, and he was like, where are you? Or he was like, where was he? And he's like, at my house. And she's like, at your house? And he's like, where are you? What city are you in, if you don't mind me asking? He's like, Kenya. And I was like, what? So done. So yeah, evidently his dad basically kind of does Doctors Without Borders, something like that. And so his dad was there for some sort of meetings, and Hecklin just met up with his pops.
Well, apparently his family's there, or at least a whole bunch of white people.
A bunch of white people! That cracked me up. That was the best comment ever. He was like, I don't know, man. Trying to stay incognito in Africa.
With his hat on.
Right. He's like, I got my hat, they can't see me. Yeah, so I do want to hear Hecklin talk about Teen Wolf. Now that it's out. When is the next con? It's at the end of this month, isn't it? In Amsterdam? Is he going to that one?
I don't know. I don't think he's on for the Amsterdam one yet. He's going to Werewolf Con in Brussels, but that's not till the end of September.
Okay. So maybe he's not going to the Amsterdam one. Chat, let us know if he's going to the Amsterdam con. And then we have some messiness to get out of the way. So, okay. Yeah, but you also know she's crazy. And I'm so sorry. I'm not dealing with that hoe. Oh God, friggin' Obi-Wan. Yeah, is a huge Jennifer stan. And so she has been filling up the Derek tag with all her Jennifer nonsense. And of course it is pissing off the stands. And I'm like, y'all just gonna have to keep scrolling because I'm not dealing with that girl. She crazy. But so there was a behind the scenes photo that was shown of Dylan, Hecklin, and Posey on set with some of the crew. And it was from when they filmed in 6B. This got released, surprisingly, by a friend of mine. And then suddenly I get 6 messages in my inbox saying, she stole these pictures and you need to take them down, and please take them down. If my friend finds out, she's going to get in trouble and they weren't ever supposed to be posted and blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, what? You know, I get a link to this girl's, Twitter, and she's weaving this tale where I'm like, the friend in question is very straightforward. They're very low key, and they get a lot of information simply by asking. So it's never like a whole like conspiracy thing. So I said, whoever did this, you got hustled, you know? And so I was like, I'm really not mad. You know, it's the internet. If you didn't want her to see the pictures, you shouldn't have shown her the pictures. Lock that mess down. I said, you doing this is just bringing more attention. So then she tried to say, well, she DM'd me one day because she is a big fan of this celebrity and she wanted to see a DM, and he follows one of my old accounts. So she DM'd me and asked me for the password to my old account so that she could send him a group chat, like a private message or something. So I said, okay. Well, while she was in there, she went through my DMs and found these behind the scene pictures. And I was sitting there like, this seems complicated. And then she shows me the chat where she's like, please don't show anyone these pictures. She's not close to her dad. And if her dad sees them, her dad's going to think that she wants a relationship. And she doesn't want that to happen. So please take these pictures down. And I was just like, again, this seems really complicated. And so my friend had actually held on to the pictures for a long time, but I think then she just kind of got bored and she was just like, whatever, I'm just going to post it. And so she posted it was fine. But then I talked to my friend and I was like, did you hustle this girl? I was like, this doesn't sound like you, but did you hustle this girl? I was like, and mind you, I'm not mad because she was dumb for showing it to you in the first place if it was this big. But she was like, no, I just asked. So then she shows me the screen caps. This girl is in her mentions talking about, oh my God, everybody thinks that Dylan and Tyler weren't on set, but I knew that they were on set the whole time. I have pictures. I'm going to DM you. And
my God.
I'm like, do you not think that the scroll button works on Twitter? Like, that we can't see these exchanges? Why did you invent this whole story about you gave her login details to an old account and blah, blah, blah? I was like, I said, your friend showed you pictures that you weren't supposed to show other people. And you were trying everything not to take the blame. And so I was just like, okay, y'all a mess. I refuse. I can't deal. But I do have to see what she says. I haven't heard from Nixie in a while, and mostly I've been ignoring them because they have this disgusting round robin about how Scott sleeps with all the women in his pack, and he's becoming a veterinarian so he can learn how to take care of his babies. And I'm just like, ugh.
He's becoming a vet to do what?
So that he can learn to take care of all his were babies. Because he's having so much sex in the past. And he's the alpha, so he's knocking everyone up.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, and we're done, Nixie. I'm cured of you.
And we're done.
I'm cured of you. Oh, man, it was disgusting.
The delusion.
Is Nixie... that one girl or guy, I don't know who these Tumblr people are.
She's the one who, she's the one who wrote the Winter Wolves fic, which is Captain America Teen Wolf crossover, and then she tagged Styles and Derek in it because no one was reading. And
there was no Derek.
Yeah, and then there was no Derek. There was Styles / Derek, but the slash hadn't come yet. She had this is how I know she sends herself ask, because someone was like, in fact, I'm really kind of over Steric, and I'm getting really tired of Steric, and I think that the way that the fandom portrays them is just wrong. In fact, the only Styles Derek that I read is yours. And I was like, where? Show me.
Write it.
Show me. I would love to see your Styles / Derek. I would love to see it. And then she had the nerve to be like, everybody, first of all, it's a lie, but she's like, everybody, all the fandom, they just see the interactions in season 1 and 2. But Derek and Styles actually had more development as a couple in seasons 3 and 4. And I'm like, where? Adonde, show me.
Season.
When they weren't allowed to be in the same room?
Yeah, where they shared 2 scenes across 24 hours with the television.
Yep. And now Crystal left because of Steric and the problems in fandom, and Dan also left because of Steric and the problems in fandom.
They said that's why Crystal Reed left?
Yep.
That's what
Who
Nixie said.
was the other person that left?
Dan. Crystal and Dan. They both left because of Steric and Steric fandom.
Oh my God.
I mean, they probably left because they were like, so we broke up and you want us to do what?
I just...
But isn't my character living in his house?
No, see, that's Jeff teaching them a lesson that you never date your co-stars.
Oh my God.
Well, then it was... I just remember him being like, oh, if Daniel told me not to kill him, and so I left the door open if he wants to come back. And I would have just been like, for you, I am the showrunner. You have some nerve coming to me telling me not to kill your damn character just for saying that.
But not
I
even
should kill the
that.
character.
But it's like, you left the door open for him to come back. That fool ain't been on screen once. But yet, there's...
Yeah, is he even coming back in the finale?
I don't think so.
No, he actually, Jeff said in an interview that the person that he wanted back, he said him and Charmin were texting and it just didn't work out. But that's the one person he regrets not getting back.
So not the Keahu shade. My God.
Well, Keahu didn't even go to Comic-Con this year.
Keahu shade.
He didn't even go to Comic-Con this year. I was like, Keahu was on Twitch collecting them ducats and gaming. And I was just like, God dang, Keahu. He, and then Orny Adams was there tweeting shade.
Yeah, Orny was going off on something.
But yeah, I was like, you have no...
Well, didn't they say they put some footage of him in the trailer and he was like, yeah, I'm not coming.
He was claiming it was from, like, it was like unused footage from like 3D, but it's like clearly new footage.
Oh,
there's new characters in the scene.
I didn't see him.
Like, he was just messing around. Yeah, it was just, there's a new little clip of, like, them playing lacrosse. That's when you see Scott as the assistant coach. Remember, he said that? Mm-hmm. And there's, like, the new characters in it, like Froy and the other kid or whatever, and that's what he was claiming was unused footage, but he was just messing around.
Okay, so now I am looking at this stupid, oh, okay. See, this is what I hate that people do when, oh God, I'm so sorry. This is why I don't deal with other bully one, because she's a bully and she knows it and that's in her name. So they're like, she's like, he's not under spell with Jennifer. He was not a minor with Kate. Y'all have ruined this nonsense for years now. And there's no evidence. Move on.org. Obi-Wan.
Okay.
And so then people are like, here is all the evidence. And then she's like, y'all are really angry about stuff that isn't canon. He's not a rape victim. Calm down. LOL. And so I'm just like, this is why people don't bother with you. Because, I mean, it is what it is. He is very much, well, he's not portrayed as one, because that would be too much like, right, having him actually have consequences of these actions that we see. And again, this is what I was talking about earlier. They're giving Derek these kind of retribution moments, it seems, but they're not referencing what he's avenging for.
But,
so it's just...
So...
Yeah.
It makes sense with Kate, right? Because this bitch killed his family. But, like, I thought that they said that, like, he was actually feeling Jennifer, you know? You remember, if we can recall back, what was that, 4 years ago? 4 or 5 years ago, when we were all watching it, and they were like, oh, Derek gets a love interest, and yada, 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 and it's not rape, and she didn't use any magic, so, like, why would he try and get retribution against her if she didn't do shit to him?
Exactly. Except, I guess, end up being evil. You know, and that's what I'm saying. So what are you going to say about her? Because in the show, they talk about her, like, specifically using these wiles to get people to adore her so that she can turn on them. Like, it's part of her defense mechanism. That's what she does. So that didn't apply to Derek? Is that what they're trying to say? And if not, why is he mad at her? Why does he care about... Unless...
Also...
well, the only reason, which is going to piss them off, is because she threatened the sheriff, which pissed off Styles. And Steric is real and it's canon. Go ahead, Amanda.
Well, wasn't it a whole big thing? Because a lot of fans were upset after the whole Eric Jennifer scene, and Haley, like, didn't she like Skype someone or something and like apologized because she didn't realize
Lila Bell?
I don't know who it was.
I don't know anything about this. Yeah,
I remember she like apologized because she even admitted that it was like a magic. She like magicked him into like liking her.
Really?
It was a BNF. Yeah, it was a BNF. I remember. But I can't remember which one it was, but she did Skype
Swain.
a fan. Yeah.
It was with Swain. Swain, man.
Was it Swain?
I feel like if it was back in the day, I would have made a Kickstarter for Swain. Swain has been through, between Swain and Quinn, those two have been through, because
you talking about a blast from the past, that name.
I know.
Because I'm putting out all the business and I don't even care anymore. But that fandom award that Posey passed off to that fan, they were still promised another copy of that award for them, and they still have not received it. So I'm just like, woo! But you have a certain, what can we call her? Autography on Twitter gassing up this show. And then someone sent her a copy of, Godspeed. Someone sent her a link and they were like, oh, I'm sad about what they did to Derek. And then she was like, I don't understand why you think that I would be mad about it and that I would want to see that I care that you're sad or something like that. And then the person who replied to her went on this huge apologizing thing. Oh, I'm so sorry. It was a joke. I thought you would like it and think it was funny. So what did you think? And I was like, are you kidding me?
Why? Why suck up to her?
She was done.
She is like turned on the fandom that she used to be a part of to like.
I don't get it.
Kiss Teen Wolf's ass, and now
for nothing.
Wait, who is this?
Autography. Work it out, Ethan.
I don't know none of these bitches, so
It's the one who was going to make a separate Twitter account so that she wouldn't have to see all the hate for the show when it was airing. People should enjoy
what
it.
Is the first letter? Is it one of the ones that I hate?
Okay, in math. Well, see, and this is the other thing. I say it with a which one? I say it with a long I. Some other people say it with a short I. And so I think that causes confusion.
I think it's the short I.
Is it the oh shoot. When you are evil, you commit a lot of blank ease.
Yes, that's how I pronounce it.
Okay. And see, I pronounce it the other way. I pronounce it billboard ease. Yeah. Come on, Ethan. When you're bad, you commit a lot of blank ease. You know who this is. You know who this is.
Do I?
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know who. I have no idea.
Y'all are killing me.
Message me on Tumblr. I need to know who this is. Because I'm just not getting it.
Are people in the chat getting it?
Once she tells you who it is, you're going to be like, oh, I understand that you guys were trying to say.
He's going to be like, you dumb.
Oh, I was like, you commit a lot of crimes? I was like, crimmies. I was like, okay, yes, I do know that one.
And
that one has some problems. Do you know who it is, Terrence?
I told you I don't know none of these.
I sent it to you on Twitter.
You know this one. This one is
I sent it to you on Twitter.
She used to go by the family's last name used to be the last part of her name.
Oh, that's right. She did. Yep.
If that makes any sense.
It makes sense. I just don't. No, maybe I've blocked them eternally from my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
She done lost her goddamn mind, Terrence.
Yes, okay.
I've always said it with the I. With I, not it.
And so that's what I was saying, autograph.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can you autograph this for me?
Okay.
That was a good hint.
It was.
I unfollowed this person so long ago.
Yep.
And then I did not even recall who you were talking about.
Ooh. We're still going to have... All right, so I got some deets real quick about... There's someone... It says we're still going... This is regarding Stydia. It says we're still going to have an emotional breakdown from the scene, but it's definitely not what a lot of people expect or hope for. And someone said, can you hint? And someone said, is it worth it? And she was like, look, at first you will be a little bit sad, but I swear it's cute. And they say, why sad? And it says disappointed or sad scene. And someone said disappointed.
That's
About Stydia?
The Stydias are going to burn...
611?
Yeah, or just in general, I think. The Stydias are going to burn this show to the ground.
It's going to be awesome.
Stylus sent Scott a voicemail. I can't deal with this. It's going to be a hot mess. Oh, but anyhow, so yeah that have fun.
Scott and a phone caller involved, right?
Yeah. Besides her...
and that's how they get a Stydia scene? I don't understand how that equates to a Stydia scene.
I don't know. Who knows? I already told
Is it going to be a phone call break?
She says, and he says, I already told Lydia I missed her and I can't wait to get home. So.
Oh, he said that to Scott and that's the whole scene?
I guess. Why would he be coming home? For what? What is this season? First of all, I decided to go ham. But we're supposed to be getting this like 2-3 months. Basically, they're jumping the summer. And so everybody is supposed to be leaving Beacon Hills, but they can't because...
Well, I was confused because they made it sound like they were still in high school. Like
no, they're supposed to be graduated.
Hadn't graduated yet.
They are graduated because this is after the summer. So this is when Mason and all of them are evidently supposed to be seniors or juniors. And then Scott and them are supposed to be going off to school. However, this season is supposed to take place in about the space of a week or so before they go off to their new schools. And something delays them, which of course is all this nonsense about Beacon Hills. This is where people died. And
who's the big bad this year?
Everybody.
There's multiple. There's like...
It seems like the entire town's turning on them.
There's like the school is turning on them. There's a group of hunters. There's a skinless man.
These people who don't know that werewolves and shit are real. Like,
I'm assuming they figured it out.
Well, they do now. After the library scene, where like Scott...
Oh, no. Jeff actually went back, because that happened in 5B. Jeff actually went back and he was like, oh, it's kind of like a Men in Black situation. They basically just thought it was a dream. And so they still don't know. Because remember the scene where Froy was like, something is your DNA changing? And he was like, how do you explain this? And then he stabs Corey in the hand with the pen. And he was like, look at him. How is he doing this? And I'm like, you better work, Froy. You better act, Froy. But, yeah, it's going to be a hot mess. And again, there are 16 million villains. Nobody knows what's going on, and they're going to do this in 10 episodes. Derek is doing loop-de-loops in Mexico, and...
So, I've always wanted this storyline out of Teen Wolf, but I know that they're going to mess it up.
Yeah.
I've always wanted, because, like, you always see a show where it's either like Buffy, where no one ever really addresses it. It's like the elephant in the room. Mm-hmm. And then you get stuff like True Blood, where it's always after the fact.
Right.
You never get the ones where people find out in the middle of it. It's like, holy crap. And you get to see, like, what the actual general populace thinks. And, like, what the turmoil is and everything like that. Even in, like, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you don't really get a lot of that. So it's interesting. Like, it is an interesting storyline in theory, I know they're not going to be able to pull it off.
Teen Wolf does this. Teen Wolf will give you an amazing trailer. The Coming On, they actually went and like got a dope editor to put that together. And it was put together really well. But that's what Teen Wolf will always give you. They will give you a fantastic trailer and the season will be trash. And this is going to be no exception. So whoop-de-doo. I'm trying to think, what else was on your list, Ethan?
We've talked about this before, but I think it's definitely worth mentioning, considering the stuff that he said about, what is it, Fareed?
Mm-hmm.
So I just sort of wanted to talk about, like, so first off, so I need to preface this by saying this is going to be really nerdy, but you guys all know that I'm pretty nerdy. So, in World of Warcraft, there was...
God.
There was, so one of the developers, and basically every so often they come out with expansions that change the game in a fundamental way. And they were asked, can we have like vanilla servers? So where it goes back to like the completely original game, everybody would start over. These would be completely separate from our normal games. And they said, you think you want it, but you don't. And I think that quote exemplifies Jeff Davis.
Right.
And another quote that I think it was sort of like Steve Jobs had said this, is that the consumer doesn't know what they want, so we have to tell them what they want. And and I think that those two, like, I think they like intertwine and form sort of Jeff Davis's outlook on fandom.
Well, this is the whole thing about Jeff loves to, you think you want this? I'll show you why you don't. And I'm going to basically, I'm going to give it to you, but with a twist, and it's just like, no, how about you just give us what we ask for? Or give us what you're selling at the very least. And that's, of course, when we talk about Steric, we're like, you have put all these expectations that we didn't give you. Like no one is asking for, sex scenes and make out scenes. And we just want them, at this point, we just want them on the screen together. And you were talking earlier, Ethan, about the Steric presence on Tumblr and how much free promo they gave this show. And how many people started watching because of Steric, thinking that it was going to be a thing. For him not to capitalize on that shows a level of pettiness that is just unparalleled. Because I'm like, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're sabotaging your own self.
I think the last time I popped on one of your podcasts, I talked about that. Mm-hmm. Like, I find the show so fascinating from like a business and background perspective, because I'm just like, how much like cachet and how much money and how many viewers did you leave on the table in the effort to do what you think is like right?
Yeah.
Which is clearly wrong. It's like, you cannot,
to maintain control.
Well, it's just like there's not, like Argent and Mama McCall. Like, there is absolutely nothing. Even if I watched, there is absolutely nothing from all of the stuff that I've watched up until that point that you could convince me that is where the story should go.
Yeah.
It's like, there is nothing that would convince me that you should keep your fan favorite characters apart for like 9 episodes at a time, I wrote a whole spec script with my roommate, and we were like, how do we get Styles and Derek in a room? Well, Derek is working with the sheriff, and so Styles pops up at his office. Bam. It's like, you can think about the lengths that you have to go
to keep them apart,
to do that to your own material.
They shot up a sheriff in the season so that Derek and Styles wouldn't be in the same room together. And you're just like, what? When Paris is there and not at the hospital. Paris was in Derek's loft, but Styles is as like a working member of this pack. And now we have another, what's it called? Hellhound. We don't know what the first Hellhound does. But now we got a second one. So I'm just like, what's the point?
Oh my gosh.
And then
that
Shelley actually let some more loose about her contract, Terrence. I don't know if you heard about this. She started out by saying that she did an audition. And she was brought in for a bit part. And then she starts kind of rambling. And she says, I told them I wouldn't do it unless they made her funny. And, and I guess one of the reporters was like, are you funny? Or I think Jeff might have said, like, are you funny? And she was like, ha ha ha, blah, blah, blah. And then she was like, no, but seriously, you saved my life. You changed everything. And I was like, that doesn't sound like you had any control. That sounds like you were at the end of your contract and they needed to find somewhere to put you, which is exactly what we said. And so just like, girl.
I mean, they tried on another MTV show, but that one got...
Yep, Zach... it was like
Zach Stone's going to be famous.
Yes. Oh my God.
They put her on that after that reality show. So I think she did the reality show first, then Zach Stone, and then that got canceled too, so they put her on Teen Wolf.
Well, there was another length of time between the reality show and Zach. Oh, because of Secret Circle. Which I forget about. And then, I wish the Secret Circle would have worked out. I wish they would have at least got a second season. It would have saved so much hassle. Maybe
if by that you mean that we got to see more Phoebe Tonkin.
Yeah.
And she who shall not be named would have been too preoccupied to star in that movie and would have left.
Would
have left a rising star to date somebody more on his level. Yeah.
Was that at the same time? I didn't even put that together. Yikes. Oh, yeah. Man.
You're going to have the Brillin stands all up in our ass box, Terrence.
Man.
I'm sure she is a lovely individual.
Ooh.
I'm sure she's a lovely individual. But that hoe cannot act.
Yeah. She tries. But I feel like
everybody tries
with her.
That does not mean that they can do it.
I feel like she's like every other lesbian in the industry. She's just trying to keep her head down. She
has been given so many chances.
She said some comment about...
She keeps getting chances. So many chances.
She said some comment about, my ideal morning is just waking up and spending the day in the bed with my dogs. And I was just like, no talk of your boyfriend. That was like, girl, you are a homosexual. And I need you to get a girlfriend.
She's also mentioned how she likes having her house because she can have like girlfriends come over and stay with her for like a month at a time.
And we have pillow
Did she forget that she's dating Dylan?
Apparently. She does until they bring him up or she needs to name drop him.
Exactly.
Right.
And it's so funny because the Brillin stands are, again, just that salty kind of, it's like they're dating, but not enough people really believe it. And I don't even think of it as like, oh, he's cheating on her or anything, because I do think he's bi, but I actually think that she's the one that he's like bearding for. Because I feel like she has such a different kind of story. And there's no reason for her to not really make it, except she just kind of sabotages herself constantly. Especially with the roles that she picks. She just doesn't care. And so I'm like, I said, I'm not against them being in a relationship just to keep everybody out of their business and then them being best friends, because I do think that the O'Briens are her family away from family, and they're actually probably her family when she's with her family, because
her families,
they're special. And so I'm like, she's always going to be an O'Brien, but I don't think that she is heterosexually attracted to Dylan personally. So.
Julia, on the other hand,
I know. Now give me some Julia, we can talk. But
I mean, the whole bearding situation, people are like, oh, did they really even do that? And I was just like, ooh. Ellen Page, Alexander Skarsgård.
Yikes. Who believed that as a couple? That's when I knew not only that she was gay, but that she was trying to come out. Because I said, oh, this is not a thing.
because the rumors are that he is bi. In a big way.
Alexander Skarsgård.
Eric from True Blood?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, not Eric. Eric.
Yeah, Eric.
What's the brother's name? Who am I thinking?
Yeah, Ellen Page and him dated.
Quote unquote.
That's like an actual confirmation that bearding does happen in Hollywood.
Yeah.
He is
which is obvious.
Tall.
But
I want to test out that theory.
Okay.
Right?
I got to figure out how to get in his.
Right. Go back to that gym, Terrence. Right. Go back to that gym. Just hang out in the shower. You be good.
I'm not at Equinox anymore, so that will my celebrity run into 24-hour fitness are nil.
Few and far between.
That's definitely the blind items say that he's bi in a big way.
Yeah.
There are a couple saying he's just gay, but
But I've never heard him. He's one of those guys that never really says anything against it. I don't know how many people ask him about it, but I've never, known him to be like, oh no, don't come at me with that.
He's never addressed it, and I've never seen him answer any sort of question like that in an interview.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously he has no problem kissing dudes. So
who was the brother on True Blood? Jason. There we go.
Jason is and Brian Quanten.
I'll see.
Ryan Quanten. Yeah, I saw him at the gym as well.
I'm telling you. How do we get you back at Equinox, Terrence? How do we get you back?
I did, and then it was and then once again in the locker room, he was changing right next to me, and I was like, all right, you have to summon up. Do not, don't look. Don't look. But you cannot, don't say, just
get dressed and get out of there.
Because that was very...
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was very strange.
You have more self-control than I do.
It took...
Terrence, how do we get you back in the Equinox? Do we need to do a Kickstarter?
Yes, for that... For the membership fees for that place, yes, you would.
Yeah,
we need to do a whole podcast for it though. So Tales from Equinox,
right? Exactly.
Yeah, it was funny.
Because
the last day I was there, I ran into I saw Terrell Owens, the football player. So.
Oh really?
Dang.
Yeah, and I don't even. The funny thing about it is the Equinox that I was going to is not even
anywhere
where all the celebrities go. If I was going to the Equinox in West Hollywood, you probably couldn't go, a second without seeing somebody. So yeah, when they popped up at mine, it was I was like, oh, that's Colton Haynes.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that he's nice if I ask to talk to him.
Oh, and
he was
nice. Yay. Dang.
So there is a blind.
Oh, jeez.
Sticky keys, may I?
Yes, and someone actually was sending this, and I couldn't open it. I was so mad, so I'm glad you tracked it.
So it is about Dylan, but I think that this is just so ridiculous. So these two closeted B-plus list MTV actors hit the Hillcrest area in San Diego, where they brought drinks and randomly made out with men while hopping from bar to bar.
Oh my God!
Maybe their show ending is freeing for them. Who are the two actors?
Wait.
So one of them is Dylan, obviously, because I said it's about Dylan. So, but who's the other one?
Wait, how do we know?
Wouldn't that be Posey?
It can't be Posey. I refuse.
That's the guess.
Posey's way too homophobic for that nonsense. Not to be, like, openly making out with dudes.
Oh, this said that somebody was openly making out with somebody.
Yeah, they said. Yeah, it says randomly, and they bought drinks and randomly made out with men while hopping from one bar to the next.
Who was on this panel that I didn't watch or care about?
I think it's Colton and Charlie. Colton, Charlie, Melissa, Lyndon, Shelley, Sprays, Rambo.
Okay,
Jeff,
see,
Dylan.
and then we got so by B list.
Exactly. Which is just wrong all around for any of these
B-list
people.
is only Dylan, you know?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
The only one who could be in the B.
It might have been the Sprays crew. I could see it being.
I could see Charlie Carver making out with a whole bunch of people.
Charlie Carver and
but he's on nobody's B list.
And I could and
he's not closeted.
Huh?
Oh yes, that was the other part.
Yeah. So, and then someone in the comments said, "I bet there was so much cocksucking going on behind the set of Teen Wolf. Woo! If those trailers could talk."
If Jeff's casting couch could.
Yeah. Oh God.
Because.
Yeah.
Still fucking Joel Patterson.
Who?
I haven't heard either one way or the other. I have no idea.
Wait, I know Trouble's getting a little old for him.
Don't make me go to his Instagram. Ooh. Ouch.
Trouble. Because
he's hanging out with that Andrew kid and Troy.
You know, I'm about to say Trouble just turned 26 and he is sweating like a mug.
What's his real name?
I think it's Dream Brother with like 3 R's.
No,
his
I meant
real
his
name.
Actual name.
Trevor
Patterson.
Wait, so you said his with 3 R's?
Well, no, his
2 R's.
Instagram, thing is like
Dream
Brother with 2 R's or some nonsense.
2 R's. So that's it. How was Damon Jackson these days?
Damon has been doing okay. I check in with him every now and again. I like to see how Damon Jackson is doing. He has his dog, and he is just happy. He was just in Minnesota. Trevor Dane Dallas. My God.
Oh, here we go.
Trevor, what is wrong with you, Bae? B, because you ain't no Bae.
As of Christmas, they were still together.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the last one he posted with them.
All of Jeff's age showed during this Comic-Con, like every line in his face, and I was just like, bruh. I was like, the devil is busy. What is happening? Oh, it's not coming up for me. What did you put as his Instagram? He might still have my account.
It's 2 R's. It's Dream Brother with 2 R's.
Okay, yeah, he probably still has my account blocked. Yeah.
What did you say to him?
It wasn't even me that said anything. It was a bunch of my friends that put eggplant emojis on his comments. And then I liked all of them. And then the next day I was blocked. I want Damon Jackson to come out with a wig line. And I do want him to be... I want it to be called Snatched by Damon Jackson. Okay, I'm trying to go through the inbox. Y'all, I have so many asks. I had someone in my thing. Oh, Lord. But I wish the same to him. Oh, yeah. No, that's not going to happen. Snatched. Stericators. Someone should explain. Oh, no one cares about that. There was someone on Instagram. I guess their Instagram account just got found called Stericator. And they're like, I love Studio Now and Steric is gross. But then you look at the date and you see it's from 2013, which was the height of Studio versus Steric. And I was like, y'all are still so pressed about us. And we ain't even on the show. So I'm just like, oh, I do kind of love it. Okay, we can talk about this one a little bit later. Oh, the American Assassin promo is starting. Keep your eyes and ears pulled for that. Oh, that's what we're talking about. So, War of the Worlds is now going to be a female-driven drama.
Yeah, because let's have Jeff write female characters.
Which, in theory, sounds fine.
Not with Jeff.
I was going to say. But with
I mean, it'd be one thing if like anyone else was handling it, but we know Jeff's idea of writing a female character is them eating up men and getting naked.
It's going to be Malia during
Jeff
the
ever
alien
met
invasion.
Well, him and Shelley are apparently tight, so.
Yeah. I definitely
my question stands.
No, exactly.
It was funny. So we know Teen Wolf moved from their old studios into these new studios. Well, come to find out, Jeff and them are trying to buy those studios. They're currently managing them, and Heathers is being filmed there. And so what they're trying to do within the next 2 years is actually purchase the studio, and then that's what they're going to use for their Teen Wolf reboot. And the thing that cracks me up about this is I'm like, Jeff knows how to budget. So why isn't he just going to entertainment like accounting? Like, why do you need to try and put mediocre crap on the screen? And
you won't get enough attention that way.
When do something you're good at.
Right. So, is War of the Worlds on MTV?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it never makes it bigger.
Well, because my question is like, I just want to know what MTV is doing right now.
So they've gone through 3 presidents in 3 years.
Yeah.
And they've also shipped off. They shipped off the Teen Wolf, replacement, and Shannara is on Spike.
Yeah.
It's like Teen Wolf and Scream, and who knows if War of the Worlds will pop. Like, what do they?
Like,
what? Was that their second reboot of Scream?
Yes.
Yeah, they were supposed to do a reboot of Scream too.
Second reboot of Scream, right? Because they had it, got canceled, rebooted it, canceled it again, and now they're rebooting it a second time. Well, third time, I guess.
Well, I think they had it canceled, and now they're doing a reboot, and they're going to try to do an anthology. So I think it's going to be the forerunner for Teen Wolf. They're going to see if it works to Scream first, because officially they own both properties.
Right. So what I'm just really curious about is, like, who is the audience for War of the Worlds? Who
Tom
was
Cruise,
like, you know what I really want to
things.
see another adaptation of? This War of the Worlds business? Like, who...
And you know where I want to watch it?
To teens?
I want to watch it on the channel formerly known as Music Television. Maybe it will come on after an episode of Catfish. Yeah, I'm just like, what is this? What is...
Yeah, that really gets you in the mood for War of the Worlds.
And then they're going to have...
Yeah, I don't know. Like, what...
They're going to put Teen Wolf on Sunday nights. And I guess they're hoping that people will start watching. Now, I still don't know if it's 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. But I'm guessing that they're hoping people will watch before Game of Thrones.
I think it was 8, they said.
Is it 8?
I think so, because remember we were saying that's like a really weird time to put on Teen Wolf, which they want to be this like dark, gory show.
Yeah. That probably means the next season isn't that dark and gory.
It's supposed to be their darkest and goriest.
Yeah, I know.
Like every season.
Not airing at 8 p.m. on a Sunday. Yeah, I hope it's at... How many episodes? They have 10 episodes, right?
Oh my God, it's even worse. It's Sunday, July 30th, 8/7 Central.
Yeah.
I thought it was 8 Central. Yeah. 7 Central.
No, it's like 8 my time. It's like
wow.
7 for you.
So they're really just wanting those reviews. They want to get those digital hits.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I mean, in theory, it's it's not a bad move because people really don't. In the summer, if you start this late, like they don't, like we're not watching shit on the weekdays.
Right.
You put it on a Sunday and it's like, okay, but it's like there is no air or space right now for this show to come back in a world where Game of Thrones,
exactly,
is only will be on its third episode, when your show is popping out.
Just starting, yeah.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
I don't know.
I know, it's just like, I don't know.
I have no words.
I don't know.
Any other asks?
Oh, let me scan through. A lot of people really upset about Jennifer being back. Jeez Louise. And watch, they're probably going to redeem. I bet they're going to redeem her. I bet she's going to work with them.
Well, the thing is Jeff even admitted in an interview, like yesterday or today, whatever day they did them, that they asked who he regretted killing off, and his first answer, like no hesitation, was Jennifer.
He loves Jennifer. Or he loves Haley.
But the thing is this going to be, because this season's supposed to be about like your biggest fears. So is she even going to be like real? Or is she going to be like some dream hallucination, whatever? Because they said the new big bad monster is like making people like see their biggest fears or something.
Okay, so wait. Remember in season 5 when they read a book and it opened up their memory to their biggest fears? And like their worst moments or whatever, are they redoing that?
Yeah,
are they
much.
Stealing from themselves?
But like from a monster instead of a book.
I think you're the only one that remembered that.
I just remembered it now.
Literally nothing. I had nothing, and I did not watch that season, so.
Wow.
Or I watched the episodes you made me watch. You're like, you're coming on this podcast.
Right?
You better watch it. And I was like...
And this year we're going to do 6-11. Probably still 6-13.
You're going to make me watch?
Yes.
Sticky keys.
You're going to want to do 6-13. Because we got to see that angle. We got to see that right angle. Ethan, we gotta watch 6-13.
I won't do it.
We gotta see Posey's angle.
I will go in blind.
And then the finales, I guess. I'm thinking 6-17 and then 6-20. Because I don't think enough is going to happen in 6-19 that I actually need to watch it.
And the 6-20 the finale.
Yeah, and it's extended. Yeah. It's supersized, Terrence. It's going to be a whole 50 minutes.
He admitted that too, that their episodes are only 40 minutes and 30 seconds. He said that's their runtime they get.
We know that.
Yeah.
I know, but he we thought it was like 41 or 42 minutes. He said it's even less.
You don't know, because when I was watching this raggedy ass show, it would be like every 8 minutes it would be a preview for what was about to happen after we came out of the commercial break.
Yes.
And then commercial break.
And then it'd be like 14 commercials.
Yeah.
And like I said, because they haven't been upfronts in years, so they have the same advertising. It's going to be Chevy, it's going to be Samsung, it's going to be AT&T, it's going to be anti-smoking, and someone's teeth are going to fall out, and then it's going to be MTV, other MTV shows, and that's just and maybe Dave and Buster's, depending on what market you're in. And this is my problem, is praise God that San Diego Comic-Con is finally over. But they're going to have a premiere party. They're going to have a finale party. They're going to do everything that they can to drag this nonsense out.
That is just going to be so extra.
And
I want my life back.
I know, right?
I just can't wait until all of the characters that I used to like are no longer relevant. I want Jeff Davis's career to crash and burn. I want Tyler Posey's career to crash and burn. I want Shelley's career to crash and burn. I want her to trip and get strangled on her overalls. And like,
oh my God, I just heard that. I feel like Shelley will keep a career. For some reason, they love her. And
well, that's what I was thinking about Jeff. Is Jeff must be great at pitching.
I don't think so anymore.
In any sense of the word, however you want to take that. Like, he has to be, because there is the way Criminal Minds went down to get Teen Wolf and then to be in development for, like, 3 other.
But he's not.
Sort of big property shows.
And this is the issue. Let the Right One In is dead in the water. They can't find a distributor. They lost A&E, and they had a second one, so they're still trying to shop that around. Who knows what's going to happen with that?
But Teen Wolf was. So I feel like
and
the
Teen
story
Wolf was
has
a pitch. Exactly. Go ahead.
Because at one point, like, I thought the way that it was he had written a spec script basically for Teen Wolf, and he had done it because Teen Wolf was, or because MTV was like, oh, we need a script for this, like we need like a show
MTV
or whatever.
Asked him exactly.
And then I also heard that, oh, like this was, a project that him and his friends had just come up with. And like, there was also another part where they were like, oh, we want to do a Teen Wolf reboot, and then they assigned it to. I feel like the story has just changed.
It has, exactly, and that's what I'm talking about. Is that people are like, oh, ratings don't matter. And I'm like, ratings do matter. And they need people to watch this because Jeff is at the end of his lying rope. That story 100% changed. Teen Wolf, Jeff has always said that MTV approached him about writing for Teen Wolf. And then come to find out that it was almost kind of like, then it kind of changed to like where it was like a lottery. So then MTV was asking for spec scripts for Teen Wolf. And then he was one of several writers, and they just happened to pick his script. Then the third iteration now is me and my partner put together the script, and we went and shopped it to MTV, and they chose us. And so it's just like, oh, you shady.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, this is so weird. Like, why would... Like, all 3 can't happen at once.
Exactly.
like one of those, like, and maybe none of them is true. I don't know. But it's like, why did the story change?
Well,
why is this?
But again, I think, because Jeff was on the outs, and this is what I always want to, if I want to be a fly on the wall for any conversation, it is for this one. They were on the outs. Jeff was done. Lindsay Jewett-Sturman was supposed to be the new showrunner. She was supposed to be in charge. MTV got a new president, and all of that changed. They went from airing Teen Wolf season 6 in one chunk to separating it out, to going back to Comic-Con, to now they have a franchise, and now they're going to do this and that and the other. There's some relationship that has been pre-built. And I don't know how Jeff is maneuvering all this, but he is. But the problem is that it's insulated, and he doesn't want us to know that it's insulated. He's got props at MTV with that president. When that president leaves, he's going to be on his tail again, unless he can prove that he can do something successfully.
Right. And now I'm wondering, like, was Let the Right One In shopped around and no one wanted it? Like, no one wanted it after the fact that it was shot.
I think that was their project. They financed that. They put together the script, and they went to different networks and said, we will produce this pilot. All we need is your cachet or your whatever, your channel. And for whatever reason, they passed.
Yeah, and so that makes me wonder about World of Worlds too, because so the Teen Wolf script, like, for the pilot is actually really good. Like, you read the pilot and you're like, wow, this is like, it sets up a lot, like it flows decently well, like, it's a it's a pretty good script, especially for something that's on MTV. And like the pilot itself is actually really good. Obviously, like it hooked me in, like it was enough to be like, yeah, like this is going to be an interesting show. It's intriguing. And so at the very least, he has the capability of doing it once. You know what I mean? So could he repeat it? I don't know.
That's all. One time is all you need in this town.
Yeah.
That's true.
Get your foot in the door. Yeah. This was actually a quote, and I'm wondering if they're going to bring this up. I remember them talking about this. In season 5, Teen Wolf News, they asked, is there something that you wanted to do on the show but never did and now never will? And then this is when Jeff says, that's a good question. Yeah, I did. I wanted to do a whole storyline with Derek Hale's character in the return of Jennifer Blake. I wanted it to be like Vertigo. Part of the idea was that the Duroc couldn't just create a face out of thin air. She had to take one. Derek finds this woman who looks exactly like Jennifer Blake, and sort of like Vertigo, it starts to drive him insane. I always thought that would be a fun idea. If heckling continued on, that would have been a storyline in season 5. So I'm wondering if he's going to try to read.
Terrence is now horizontal.
I
know. That sounded so boring,
Yeah.
But also, it was just like the typical torture Derek.
Well, it's like Derek's, true storyline, right? The arc that the show should have done is that he would have joined the police force, right? And discovered a new sense of purpose, being a police officer, and that's how you bring the sheriff in, and it's like, that's the way to go from being like the angry guy who didn't trust anybody to like a pillar of the community. That's the story arc that should have happened. And then you would have given him like a season off of Love and just had him interact with, some woman, because according to the canon that we've been presented so far, he only likes women. And built it up from there. Like, it would have taken longer than just 3 episodes of losing his powers to, jump in bed with somebody.
Well, again, the problem that you run into is that in order to make a story like a Vertigo storyline work, you have to give Derek a bottle episode. And Jeff said, he's like, I don't think you can ever talk about Teen Wolf without talking about Tyler Posey. And
he's the lead. He's the main character.
No, but what I'm saying is that Jeff, that has recently changed too. Because remember when Jeff was trying to do, this has always been an ensemble show. And I've always wanted to talk about, the wolves of Beacon Hills and the different creatures. And it's never just been all about Teen Wolf.
The lies. Oh my God.
Exactly. And now you can't think of Teen Wolf without thinking of Tyler Posey. And I'm like, you did for years. And I remember when Posey rebelled against you because of it. And however you got him back in line, that's another wall that I want to be the fly on. What conversation did he sit down with Posey and say, look here, you better get it together. I made sure break you.
It definitely was not. And it might have grown into, in a more ensemble show, but it's always been about Scott.
Exactly. Exactly.
Wait, to maybe the detriment of it sometimes.
Yeah.
I was thinking about season 3A for some reason, probably because thought about Charlie Carver, and I was like, it never made sense to me that the twins went after Lydia and Danny.
Yes.
The better storyline there is if Ethan would have gone after Styles.
Exactly.
Yep. But they didn't, and that's the thing, because so I was talking to one of my friends' cousins she's wicked big into fandoms. She got into the Teen Wolf fandom very late, and so she ships Steric outside of the show. So in fanon, but in canon, she ships Stydia. But she does recognize that the show sort of fucked its fans over with Bae styles and everything like that. She was like, oh yeah, totally, like the whole Caitlyn thing, yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
He was coded as a Bae character. And so we were sort of talking about that, and she was like, there was so many opportunities for them to place styles with a male character.
Well, even just give us the whole, because you were talking about Charlie Carver, Terrence.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, give me Ethan going after Styles, and just give me Styles being like, oh, I guess I am attractive to gay guys. See, Scott? Oh, you know, like, it's just something fun like that where you can still keep it light. You still don't have them, but something that acknowledges, like, this is something that at the very least Styles would be cool with. And then, of course, it can all go to hell from there. But like, it's such an easy get. So like you said, it takes so much more effort to not do those things. And yet it is turns that the show takes every time. Keep going, Ethan. Sorry, I just had to get that in.
Oh, no. But I was just going to say, like, what... Does stuff like that, like the simple stuff, does that even occur to Jeff? Or is he too focused in trying to make a complicated, good story that, like, that stuff just sort of goes over his head?
I think that, like, I really do think that when they got... And this is why, you know, I haven't watched Shadowhunters since this new season, because the end of the first half of this extended season was not great. But it's like, they got the 24 episodes, and we're like, oh, so we have to go bigger. Like, we have to justify this thing. And I think that they started thinking all of these broad strokes things and looking to the future and all of these storylines that they wanted to do, but they didn't ground it really. Like, they never came back. It was like they started doing the bigger things, but they never really, like, got back down to the basics.
Right.
And it's...
Well, again, the thing that you do with an extended season is that's when you character build. That's when you world build. That's when you're able to have bottle episodes. That's when you ground your characters.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just sort of thinking of Firefly, and that they didn't get an extended season, but they had all of these episodes where the characters just sort of, they like paired off and they just interacted with each other. The story doesn't necessarily move forward, but you're still engaged because you're learning so much about them in the context of their world. You know, you're learning that, you know, like while Kaylee and Mal are at the ball, like you're learning like, oh, there's, you know, elegance, there's decadence, there's, you know, all of this stuff, and you're learning stuff about their past in other episodes, like in Out of Gas, and you know, like it's not always about just plot. And we've always said this, is that the characters have always come secondary to the plot in Teen Wolf. The characters are always the ones on the other end of the plot. Like they're serving the plot. The plot doesn't serve the characters.
Yeah. Well, when you get a character like Corey, you're like, do his parents think he's dead? Who is he living with? You know, and yet we're supposed to care about him because he's
who is Corey?
Exactly.
Gay boy number 2. Little gay boy number 2. That's who Corey is.
So not black gay with Steph Mason.
Yeah, Mason and Corey is disappearing.
Gotcha.
Incredible disappearing gay.
Whatever happened to Cody saying no?
Exactly.
Oh, he's going to be in 6B.
Evidently. Him and those
he was in the
Andrews
first
girls.
trailer. There was like a screen cap of him like running, looking, I don't know, supposed to look scared. He just looked bad.
Him and those Andrews girls.
Oh, God.
All over season 6B. And I'm like, God dang it.
Didn't he?
I know. Oh, my God.
That's all they could afford at this point.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Messy. Someone just sent a whole thing with all the Dylan pictures from Comic-Con. I'm just like, ugh, over it.
Yeah.
Over it.
You're like angry at him. You're like, I can't believe you did this.
How dare you? How dare you? All right.
Yeah.
I think we got any parting thoughts? I'm trying to see. Everybody Wants Some is free on Amazon Prime. You can.
Yeah, you weren't kidding about Cody coming back. I just went to his Instagram.
Oh Lord, that coke out Instagram.
And he's
God.
Well,
He's still trying to like get fans' phone numbers, or did he drop that one at least?
Oh Lord, I hope
Jesus.
so.
Were they girls?
I don't know. He just looks like somebody that your parent would be like, do not date a guy like this.
Right. Pretty much.
Oh God.
Here, now you can watch
He does so many smokes too. That's great.
Oh yeah.
Heckler.
So does Trouble.
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
Oh, Trouble. I wonder if Trouble still has his SoundCloud, because that was fantastic. Ooh, yes.
Besides maybe heckling.
Oh man. Okay, and then let me just do one more thing. Nope, can't deal with it. Our fan art. We need to get Colton to post another. I don't know what that means.
I unfollowed him. I can't do the ice, the Hitchcock blonde hair color, and I refuse to be. I can't take another flower advertisement.
I love it. I
love
love it so much. He won me over. They had they were in bed. First it was on Colt, and this is the thing that cracks me up, because they do like a tag you're it. So they were on Colton's, and then like perfectly coiffed, makeup all did in the bed.
Naturally.
And then talking and all this other stuff. And then they showed a picture where Leafy was outside of the room, and they have one of those windows that has the shade that goes up like remote control. So like Leafy was pretending like he was opening it. He was like, ugh. And I was like, y'all are the corniest of cornballs, and I love it. They are ridiculous. And Colton would not quit blinging that ring. He looked like he had the shakes. He was trying to get the ring to catch that light. And everyone, he was like, yep, getting married.
When you saw what Leafy did for his birthday,
oh no,
you saw that birthday stuff, right? The rose elephant.
Oh, I love that elephant. I did.
Yeah, that was like so over the top.
I love it. I don't care. They are just so. And then Colton was kissing. I'm surprised Colton didn't try to steal that baby. I was just like.
Well, you don't know he didn't try.
Well, because John Quisha is coming. They little Nick's baby is coming, and I'm here for it. I cannot wait. Serena better watch her baby.
Well, they went from just like talking about like calling each other fiance and all their Instagram posts to like adding in like, you're going to be such a great father, you're going to make such a great dad. In like every single Instagram post now.
They are ridiculous, and I love it. I can't believe that. Okay, I think we are good. Oh, there's so much more to talk about, but ain't no one got time. So, thank you guys for coming on and being shady with me and having a good time. Oh, Lord, this is longer than I thought, but it's all good. Say goodnight,
2 hours 45.
I know.
Good night, everybody.
Say goodnight, Terrence.
Good night.
Yay. Say goodnight, Amanda.
Good night, everybody.
Woo, all right, y'all know the deal. Don't be sending me harassing inboxes talking about when this is going to be up. I'll put it up when I put it up. And I'm going to lock down this page. So if you want to share it, if you want to save the chat, you better do it now. All right, see you guys later. Thanks for coming on. Bye. Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.